strategic implementation and control. In this one topic, I am skipping the first topic, which is of formation and implementation. And then I will focus on 4 topics: change, control, BPR, benchmarking. These are the 4 topics that we are going to understand from this chapter. So first one is with respect to do strategic change. No, that's what I'm saying. Formation implementation, I'm skipping. Formational implementation, efficiency and effectiveness, not need. I'm not explaining about it because it deals with efficiency and effectiveness, and formation implementation both have to be good. I can know that there are no much of technicalities involved in that particular concept. Rather, we will deal with the concept of strategic change first, and then control, after that BPR and benchmarking. So let's understand with the concept of strategic change. Is changes needed for the business? Whenever there is a change in the environmental factors, good. What happens if business does not change? That is also known. Now the problem is, change is not that easy to implement in a business, because you can't bring change as a surprise to the members of a company. Many cases we have seen change might be good, but the way that the change have brought is not good, because of which result was not effective. What comes in your mind when I say this? Very good. Demonetization, considerably right example. All of a sudden 8 o'clock, Man Ki Baat says that money is of not valid. From then, whenever our PM says Man Ki Baat, we need to be a bit worried. Man Ki Baat, lockdown. Man Ki Baat, demonetization. Man Ki Baat, lockdown extinction. Whenever he say Man Ki Baat, we need to be a bit worried. 8 o'clock, that too. All the things he announced 8 o'clock, he did that. Now, change might be good, but the way that the change have brought is not good. In the organizations, you can't do this. Change cannot be a surprise to the members of organization. All of a sudden, if you ask your employees to change, rejection will come. They will say that we are not ready to accept the change. That's why there is a systematic way to bring change. That is the concept says. 2 things we are going to understand in strategic change. Steps to initiate strategic change, curve to in change process. Okay, 2 concepts. Steps to change, curve to in change process. First topic is to understand about steps to initiate strategic change. 3 simple, easy to understand steps. In this first company, what they have to do? Recognize the need for change. When the company wants to implement change, first they need to recognize why they want to change. This can be done by studying environmental factors. When companies study internal and external environmental factors, they recognize why they have to change. Look at this. Diagnose the areas which cultures are supportive, which are not supportive. And then how the need can be recognized? By doing environmental scanning, internal and external. Then gap can be identified. What environmental factors are demanding, what company is doing. Recognize the need. Once the need is recognized, you need to create a shared vision to manage the change. Actually, in SM, there is a concept called shared vision and vision shared. Remember this? What is shared vision? Employees have wholeheartedly accepted the vision and they are trying to fulfill the vision wholeheartedly. It stands for shared vision. Once again, shared vision stands for when the employees have accepted the vision, fulfilling the vision wholeheartedly, shared vision. Vision shared. Only because of the pressure from top management, they are trying to fulfill the vision. It stands for vision shared. Which one is best to have? That's it. Here, shared vision is created regarding change. When you create shared vision, automatically all employees will accept the change. That's why senior managers need to constantly and consistently communicate the need of change to all the employees. First, recognize the need, then create shared vision. Once you create a shared vision, all employees are ready to accept the vision. Once they are ready to accept the vision, institutionalize the change, nothing but bring the change that you want to bring. That is why it is called as a action stage. Once you are implementing change, ensure that firm does not slip back into the old ways again. Usually for a full-fledged change to happen, it will take some time. Overnight change will not happen. These are the 3 steps to implement change. First one, need recognized. How the need can be recognized? By studying environmental factors. Then create a shared vision. Among whom? Employees. Then finally bring the change. 3 steps to initiate change. Then there is a guy called Kurt Lewin. He have stated a good process for change. That is what we call it as a Kurt Lewin change process. Change process stated by Kurt Lewin. He stated 3 steps to implement change. He also believes that change cannot be surprise to the members of the organization. That's why systematically change need to be brought. And the 3 steps that he have stated for the change process is unfreezing the situation, change to new situation, refreezing. Unfreezing, change to new situation, refreezing. Yes, I think in our classes we might have discussed this. Ice cube theory will help to understand this quickly. Let's say if you have been given with an ice cube and asked to change the ice cube color into red. The best way to change that is first unfreeze it, add color to it, then refreeze. Perfect way to change. Now you say, sir, I will paint it. It will gone. Rest of the things that you do are temporary. You unfreeze the cube, add the color, again refreeze. Permanent change. Same principle Kurt Lewin says. Not about melting ice cube. Let's see how unfreezing happens in a business. As per Kurt Lewin, unfreezing stands for breaking down old attitudes, behaviors, policies, procedures in the company so that company can start with a clean slate. If you have to start something new, existing need to be removed. Simple funda of life also. If new has to come, remove the old one. Don't do for all the things. So that is what unfreezing says. Like old policies, policies, procedures, strategies followed by the company, they need to be removed. Look at the term. Unfreezing process is breaking down old attitudes, behaviors, customs, traditions so that company can start with a clean slate. This can be done by communicating to all the employees that we are changing. Whatever previously we are following, we are removing it. Once you unfreeze the situation, then change to new situation. Once the unfreezing process has been completed, behavior patterns need to be changed. Here, while changing to new situation, H.C. Kellman in Kurt Lewin change process, H.C. Kellman says that 3 methods. By following these 3 methods, company can change to new situation. In that, the first method is compliance. Compliance stands for strict enforcing reward or punishment strategy for good or bad behavior. If you are changing, I will reward you. If you are not changing, I will punish. Then all the employees will change. Compliance. Next one is identification. Here what you have to do, you have to say that if you work in this changed environment, you will become like your role model. Look, identify themselves with some role models whose behavior they would like to adopt. You are saying that to all the employees, if they work in this changed environment, they will become like their role model. That's called identification. Nothing but it's a shared vision. And the next that we have is identification. How this will happen? By changing the thought process of the employees and giving them some freedom to adopt to new behavior. This one is a very strict one, compliance. If you change, I will reward. If you don't change, I will punish. This stands for changing to new situation. First, unfreeze, remove everything. Then change to new situation by 3 ways. Once the entire organization has been changed, then what has to be done? Refreezing. Refreezing has to be done when new becomes as a normal way of life. Done with strategic change. 2 concepts. Steps to initiate change, Kurt Lewin change process. What are the 3 steps to initiate change? recognize the need for change, create a shared vision, institutionalize the change. Kurt Lewin have stated 3-step process: unfreezing, change to new situation, refreezing. While change to new situation, H.C. Kellman have stated 3 things: compliance, identification and internalization. Remember, compliance, carrot and stick, and then identification, role models, internalization, changing thought process. These are the key terms to remember Kurt Lewin change process. So this is about strategic change. Next one that we have is, even though the concept has been given as strategic control, I want all of you to remember this concept as organizational controls. Organizational controls. There are 3 types of organizational controls are there. They are nothing but operational control. Operational control, management control and strategic control. This is the concept. The concept is organizational controls. There are 3 types of organizational controls are there: operational, management and strategic. Operational control is with respect to day-to-day operations: production control, cost control, budgetary control, inventory control. All these are day-to-day operations. Management control is with respect to achievement of goals, and strategic control deals with 2 things. First, operational control is all about day-to-day operations. Management control is with respect to achievement of goals. Then what is strategic control is all about? Because why I said organizational control is nothing but, you see here, this is what types of organizational controls. Here 3 types of organizational controls are there: operational, management, strategy. Now operational controls deals with what? Individual tasks and transactions. If you look at the example, you will understand: stock, production, quality, cost, budgetary. These are day-to-day operations. Whereas management controls deals with what? Goals, either short-term or long-term goals. But strategic controls deals with 2 questions. Carefully understand. Strategic controls deals with 2 questions. Question number 1. The strategy is being implemented as planned. Because you have planned the strategy in one way, it has been implemented in the other way. It will not serve the purpose. Strategic control will check whether all the plans that has been formed, are they implemented as planned or not. Next we have second question. The results produced by the strategy are those of intended means expected. After implementing the strategy, the results that you are getting are something different than expected. Then also the goal is not achieved. Now dealing with these 2 questions is related to strategic controls. So strategic controls deals with 2 questions. Strategies have been implemented as planned. Results produced are those of expected or not. Not only this, there are 4 types of strategic controls are there. The concept is types of strategic controls. 4 types. First one is premise control. Premise stands for assumptions. Most of the cases, strategies have been prepared depending upon certain assumptions. Over a period of time, these assumptions will change. What a strategic manager have to do? Validate the assumptions, whether this assumption will happen or not. That can be done by studying environmental factors. Look at the term. A strategy may be formed on the basis of certain assumptions. Over a period of time, these assumptions may change. Now what a manager have to do? Validate the accuracy of the assumptions. How to validate the accuracy of assumptions? By studying environmental factors. Got the point about premise control? Once again, premise control stands for when strategies have been prepared depending upon, over a period of time, these assumptions may change. Manager need to check the accuracy of these assumptions by studying environment. Next, strategic surveillance. Strategic surveillance is generally unfocused. Why it is unfocused? Because it simply depends upon general monitoring of information, like from where information has been get, reading financial newspapers, business magazines, meeting, conferences. Like this, from these areas some information have been got. That is why we are calling this as unfocused. Special alert control. Special alert control has been assigned under two cases. When any natural disasters happen, when any unexpected events takes place. Natural disasters like tsunami, earthquakes, tornadoes, these things. Unexpected events, terror attack, they will never send you invitation. Unexpected event, your strategy will be disturbed. Special alert control is needed. So that's about. Special alert control is needed under two conditions. One is unexpected events and natural disasters. Then the fourth one that we have is implementation control. This is nothing but converting the plans into actions. While you are implementing the strategy, you need to follow implementation control. Implementation control will be in the two forms. One is monitoring strategic thirst. Next one is milestone review. Simple to understand, don't get confused. Monitoring strategic thirst stands for, as a manager, you should check whether the overall strategy is processing as desired, which means whatever the strategy that you are implementing is going as your plan or not. Next, milestone review is nothing but resource allocation. To implement strategy, do we need to allocate some resources? Whether that resource allocation has happened properly or not. That's it. Organizational control. We have three types. Organizational control is having three types. Operational, management, strategic. Day-to-day operational is operational. About goals is strategic control deals with two questions. Strategies have been implemented as planned. Results are achieved as desired or not. Four types of strategic controls. Premise control, strategic survey lines, special alert control, and when strategies are prepared depending upon assumptions, premise control. Unfocused, survey lines. Unexpected events, special alert. While implementing, implementation control. That's about strategic controls. Actually, we have audit. I'm skipping audit. I'll go with BPR. As the time that we have, it's better to go with BPR and benchmarking. These two concepts we'll try to cover. In BPR also, there are so many concepts I have given in BPR, but you focus only on the concepts that I am telling you, even for the examination also. Don't skip the audit. Audit you should prepare. Because of time factor, I'm not dealing with the audit. And even formation and implementation also don't skip. In a preparation, you go ahead. But in BPR, while you are preparing, you can skip the concepts that I am skipping. Which means you focus only on the concepts that I am educating in BPR. So what is BPR stands for? Generally, the concept itself is giving you the answer. There is a process which is followed by a company which has become outdated. That's why what company is doing? Re-engineering, changing the process. The key term, business process re-engineering stands for radical redesign of workflows and processes. Radical means drastic. In a huge way change the process. 15 to 20 years back, if you have to deposit money in a bank, process is different. Now the process is different. What banks did? Re-engineered their process. Re-engineering is different from automation, understand. In EIS, you have learned about automation. There, human element is removed and technology is introduced. Here, the steps in the process itself have changed. Previously, go to bank, stand in line, fill pay-in slip, wait for your turn, then deposit money, take the counter folio. This many steps are there. All the steps have removed. You don't need to even go to bank. Go to any of the deposit machine. Put the money, deposit and come out. Look how many steps have removed in this. This is called re-engineering. That is what we say. BPR stands for radical redesign of workflows and processes. So look at the key term. Question number 20, which talks about meaning of BPR. BPR refers to analysis and redesign of workflows and processes. What happens in BPR? Total deconstruction and rethinking of a business process. Whatever the process that has been followed now, totally deconstruct it. And again, rethink of a new process. Re-engineering. Completely collapse the existing process and come with a new process. That is what re-engineering stands for. In re-engineering, what else company will do? dramatically improve performance in terms of time, cost, quality and responsiveness. Why do companies go for re-engineering? Time have to be saved, cost have to be saved, quick response have to happen. For that reason, they are changing the process. That's what BPR is all about. Simple terms. Fourth point, giving up old practices, adopting new practices. Previous thing that you are following as a process, remove it. In that place, come with a new one. This is what meaning of BPR. Clear? The key term, BPR stands for radical redesign of the workflows and processes. Totally deconstruct the existing process. In that place, come with a new process. This is what BPR means. So in BPR, meaning of BPR we have discussed. Next one, objectives of BPR we have to understand. The next concept is to know about objectives of BPR. Look at these three objectives. The three objectives of BPR says, first one, eliminate redundant, non-value adding steps, activities and transactions. Redundant means repetitive, unwanted. Remove repetitive transactions, unwanted transactions, non-value adding steps. Previously, if in a bank, if you have to do KYC, you have to go to bank. You know about KYC. Now they have removed it. Why should ask a customer to come to the bank? Non-value adding step, remove, do online KYC. This is called BPR. Any step which is having no value, remove it. In that place, use technology and come with a new step. That's what. And dramatically reduce the number of stages in work. You are not supposed to have so many stages in a process. Remove the stages which are not necessary. That's what BPR means. And speeding up workflow by using IT. You can't go for BPR without IT. So these are objectives of BPR. So definition of BPR, objectives of BPR. Next one is rationale of BPR. That concept you should discuss. Where we have that rationale of BPR. Yes, here we have rationale of BPR, which means reasons. Rationale stands for what are the reasons that company go for BPR. What is the first reason? Whenever there is a change in the new technologies, when they have been introduced, it will force the existing business to change their process. So the reason why do companies will go for BPR is whenever there is a new technology comes in the market. Second one, whenever competition, because when a new competitor comes in the market, will he come with a new process? Then your existing process have become outdated. Then re-engineer your process. That's what. And finally, demanding. Customer is expecting better products and services from you. They are not happy with your old process. Then there is no other option than to go for re-engineering. There are three reasons why to go for re-engineering. Whenever new technology comes, whenever competition increases, whenever customer expects new process from you. So meaning of BPR, objectives of BPR, rationale of BPR. Next one is steps to implement BPR. Now you can't implement BPR overnight. There are some, yes, steps in the implementation of BPR. Let us understand the steps. First step, determine. Objective means not targets. Sir, in the third chapter you said objectives as targets. Here objective means end result. End result. Even ES also plenty of times you come across with objectives. There it does not mean targets. There it means end results. There it is end results. But here in SM process, objectives are targets. Here end result. If you are implementing BPR, there might be a goal in your mind to achieve. First determine that goal. Why you want to go for BPR? What desired end result that you want to achieve by implementing BPR? Step 1. Look at the term. Objectives are nothing but desired end results. The company wants to achieve by implementing BPR. So step 1 in BPR is to determine objective. Step 2, identify customer and determine their. Because your customer is not satisfied with the existing process. Then study your customer. Identify their needs. That's what. Customer need to be identified. The purpose of redesign of business process is provide value to customer. Then first study your customer. Is your customer is expecting new process from you or not? After that, after identifying the customer, study the existing process. When you don't have clarity about your existing process, you can't re-engineer the new process. That's why first study existing process. Existing process should be carefully analyzed. After this, you should go for formulating a redesign process plan. This is the real crux of BPR, because whatever the information that you have gathered from the previous steps, by considering that information, you are trying to redesign a new process. After redesigning, you have to go for implementation. While you are implementing BPR, look at this interesting point. It is the joint responsibility of the designers and management to implement the new process. What does this stands for? State Bank of India have re-engineered their business process, introduced mobile banking. They are not independently doing that. They have associated with YONO. That's why it is called as YONO SBI. Now it is the responsibility of two people, designers and the management. The one who designed the BPR and the management of the company, both have to work together. Indian government have re-engineered the process of applying passport. Previously, lengthy process. Go to special team will used to be there. IB team used to be the intelligence bureau. Go to them, give the application, they will come for verification, lengthy process. Now you have passport seva kendras, like regional passport offices, RPOs are there. You know, all the technical support that is needed for process re-engineering come from TCS. If you go to any passport office, there is a separate cabin where a TCS employee will be sitting and doing all the process. Now when the central government have re-engineered the process, two people are working together there. The designers, TCS and government. Any BPR, two things will happen. It is a joint responsibility of the designers and management. Clear with the steps? First one, objective need to be defined. Know your customers. Study the existing process. Redesign a new process. Implement it. Over. So how many concepts? Meaning of BPR, objectives of BPR, rationale of BPR, steps to implement BPR. One more topic is there. Role of IT in BPR. Here we have the role of IT in BPR. Can the business process re-engineering is possible without IT? Any type of re-engineering that you take, IT plays a crucial role. That is what the term says. Fourth point, I will directly take you to understand this. A re-engineered business process characterized by IT, which means a company has re-engineered a process with the help of IT. This will help to increase the speed, accuracy, adaptability and integration of data. And moreover, customer needs and expectations can be satisfied very quickly only when you use IT in BPR. One more point. With the help of tools of information technology, organization can modify their business processes to make them automatic, simpler, time saving. With this, what will happen? Efficiency, effectiveness and innovation will come. That is why, thus, IT provides value in three distinct areas. What are they? Efficiency, effectiveness, innovation. Efficiency will come in the way of productivity. Effectiveness will come by way of better management. Innovation will come by way of improved products and services. These three things happens when IT has been used in BPR. Role of IT in BPR. These concepts are enough. Rest of the concepts you don't need to seriously consider in BPR. So how many topics I have covered? Meaning of BPR, objectives, rationale, steps, role of IT. Enough, these 5 concepts. Don't waste your time by going through rest of the concepts of BPR. Only these 5 you focus on. So BPR is over. Now you might be thinking, sir, is BPR related to implementation or formation of strategies? No. Actually, BPR and benchmarking are not related to implementation. These two are some of the tools and techniques or methodologies adopted by the company to get efficiency, effectiveness and customer satisfaction. BPR is a technique where you are re-engineering your process, same as benchmarking also. These are not related to implementation part. These are some methodologies and techniques adopted by the company to improve their efficiency and effectiveness. Now you think, if BPR is properly implemented, can the company gain competitive advantage? Yes. If BPR is properly implemented, they will improve efficiency and effectiveness, better customer satisfaction. Same thing even for benchmarking also. Now we are done with BPR. There is another technique that can be adopted by the company, that is of benchmarking. So let us understand that as a last concept for today. Benchmarking. So sometimes you might be hearing this even generally also. What a benchmarking performance. What is this benchmarking? Let's say, who is called as God of cricket? Because he has set a standard. I am taking sports as reference. In athletics, there is a guy called Usain Bolt, 100 and 200 meter running. What he do? Every time he breaks his own record. Whenever we talk about athletics in running, we always give Usain Bolt as a standard. He has set that standard. Others are following that standard. This is called benchmarking. Benchmarking means whenever anyone set a highest standard, not lowest. Sir, every time I am the one who is consistently coming last in the class. This is not benchmarking. No one did it, sir. I am breaking my own record. Every time I am the one who come last. No, this is not benchmarking. Benchmarking is something when you set a highest standard. This highest standard against which things can be compared, against which things can be measured. When you set a highest standards, others will compare to you. Like you tell me, when compared with the Usain Bolt, how fast you have run, which means you are comparing with the highest. You will never compare with the lowest at any point of time. For your personal satisfaction, you can do. Like in your home, let's say if you have failed, you will never say that you have failed. You will say, this time so many people have failed. Logic. You are not saying that you have failed. Neither you are saying that the people, those who have passed. Now you are focusing on those who have failed. This is not benchmarking. Benchmarking is something when you set a highest standard and you are comparing yourself with the highest standard. In any of the area you can do so. Now there is a company like which is manufacturing air conditions. Now this company said that no one in the industry have did so far. If you come with any complaint, we will resolve this complaint in 5 hours. 5 hours is benchmarking. Now for their competitors, if they have to set benchmarking, they have to do in less than 5 hours. This is what highest standard. And benchmarking can be set in any of the area. Providing customer services, innovation. There are some companies who have set benchmarking in innovation. Whenever any innovation has been taught, we will refer to that particular company. That's how we know some of the companies. There are some companies who have set benchmarking in every industry. There will be some companies. Whenever best performance have to be checked, they will be compared with that particular person. This is called benchmarking, setting a highest standard. Look at the terms. Dictionary defines benchmarking as a standard or a point of reference against which things may be compared and by which something can be measured and judged. Because someone have set the highest standard, you are comparing your performance with others. Benchmarking is a process of identifying and learning from best industry practices. Someone have set a highest standard. From that highest standard you are learning. This stands for benchmarking. Now tell me, can the benchmarking help the company to gain competitive advantage? Because you are setting something highest standard like no others have did. Look at the 4th point. It is an approach of setting goals, measuring productivity based on best industry practices. It is a process of continuous improvement in search of. If you have set a highest standard like no others have set in the industry, which means you have gained competitive advantage. In benchmarking, what companies have to do? First, you compare your performance with the others. When you compare your performance, you will identify the gap. An air conditions manufacturer is saying that I will do it in 5 hours. You are doing in 20 hours. Now you are comparing your performance with the benchmark guy. Now you identify a lot of gap. Now what you have to do? Take some steps to fill the gap. That is the steps. First one, compare different aspects with the one who have set benchmark. Once you compare, what you identify? Gaps. Now what you have to do? Find out some good methods to reduce the gap. And these methods need to be properly implemented. So 4 things that will happen in benchmarking. compare your performance with others, identify gaps, find out the methods to fill the gaps, implement those methods. Understood meaning of benchmarking? Setting a highest standard in the best industry practices. Can we achieve benchmarking overnight? Some steps need to be followed. So the next concept we have, now look at this, benchmarking can be set in different areas: manufacturing cost, product development, distribution. In India, HUL have set benchmark in distribution. In FMCG, in India, Coke have set benchmark in beverages, like that. Customer services, product, plant utilization, HR, TCS have set benchmark in HR, like that. Next, the steps that are involved in benchmarking. Step 1, identify the, when you can identify the need when you compare your performance with the others. Once you identify the need, don't quickly jump to implement benchmark. Identify the opportunities there for you or not. To achieve that benchmark, you need resources. To achieve that benchmarking, you need manpower and machinery. Check whether you have that or not. That is what? Identifying the need for benchmark. And then clearly understand the existing business process. Now, how you can understand your existing business process? Collect data by using different methods like interviewing your employees, site visits, filling questionnaires. With this, you will understand everything about your existing business process. You can't achieve benchmarking in all the processes. It's a stupidity. Companies will study all the business process. Among those business processes, they will identify any one process to implement benchmarking. That's why identify best process. So within the framework, best process need to be identified. That can be in like existing the organization or outside of the organization. Once you identify the process, now what you have to do? Compare own process and performance with that of others. Others here means who are others? Look at the term. Compare own performance with that of others. Once you compare, what you can do? Identify the gaps. One more thing, when you are comparing, one thing that you have to be done is that make such comparisons meaningful and credible. You are comparing, fine. Make your comparison meaningful. In your entire life, you did running, never. Like, you have never went to a ground to do running. On any particular day, you have started running. First day, you ran for 200 meters. Now you are checking what is my time and Usain Bolt time. What kind of comparison is that? Just now you have started a company and you are checking with the industry leader. And you say my standard is highest, that's why I am doing that. Stupidity. Just now you have started, still long way to go, then compare. Look at this point. Analyze the performance, understand the gap to make such comparisons meaningful and credible. That's what you have to do in the process of benchmarking. Yes, you have compared yourself, identify the performance gaps, then what you have to do? Prepare a report and implement the steps to close the performance gap. So prepare a report, come with the steps, what steps can be followed to fill the gap. And the last step is to go for, while implementing and filling that gap, you have to continuously check. Evaluate the results of benchmarking. Whatever the purpose that you have set the benchmarking for, are you achieving it or not? Now, is benchmarking is a one-time process? You have set benchmarking. Your competitor is not going to silent. Again, he will try to set another benchmark. That's why look at the term. Review, evaluate, reset the benchmark periodically whenever conditions are changing. So setting of benchmarking is not a one-time process. It's a periodical process. These are the steps to implement benchmarking. So meaning of benchmarking and 4 basic steps that are involved, and then elaborate steps to implement benchmarking. So this is about BPR and benchmarking. We are done with the content. Clear with this chapter also? Nice. So finally things have come to an end. Any quick doubts if you have? I know all of you are exhausted, could be sensed. Not exhausted? Still active? I bet when you sleep today, you'll be thinking about strategic management process. For such a long time, in an entire day, you are dealing with one concept. Even when you sleep, analysis, planning, formation, implementation may come. So, any quick doubts if you have? Focus on your presentation in the exam. As this is theory, focus on how you are presenting the paper. Case study is a compulsory question. If you have any doubt about case study, don't start it in the beginning. First question is compulsory case study. When you have any doubt, if you are not sure about it, don't start it in the beginning. First go with the questions which you are strong and comfortable with. Then, don't say, sir, all the questions, sir. But any one question that you might be strong and confident, yes, I can read this perfectly, I can write this perfectly. Start with those questions. And systematically plan your paper. Time management is must. Strictly 1.5 hour and 1.5 hour for EAS and SM. Very strictly. You have to manage with the time management. Because part A is EAS, part B is SM. Now you are happily writing part A. 2 hours are over. Then you may not do justification for part B. Time management. In the revision exams itself, focus on your time management. In the stipulated time, whether you are writing it or not. One big problem that you have for most of you, sir, I can understand when I read, I can remember, but I can't write. Biggest problem for most of you. This is because of lacking of practice. When you are reading, keep a rough notes with you. Keep on writing down the key terms roughly. When you are reading, have a paper with you. That's it. You have read a question which consists of 4 headings. Quickly write the 4 headings without looking at it. Some key terms, write the key terms. Let's say you are studying SM process, 5 steps, write the 5 steps. The more you write, the more you remember. No other choice. Have to do extra efforts. Otherwise, if you have this problem that I can't write, I remember, I study, I understand and I remember, but I can't write. This lacks the writing practice. So carefully plan these 2 papers, A and SM, AS and SM. Never have big goals. Be realistic. Don't leave a chapter for choice. Leave the content of the chapter for choice. This I always says. Don't leave the entire chapter for choice. Categorically, whatever the analysis is there, some of the content you can leave for choice in a chapter. But for the entire chapter, don't leave for choice. It's a big risk that you do either in ES or SM. Focus on presentation. It is not needed that you are attempting for 100%. Even if you attempt for 80%, be strong and confident about it. And don't overgeneralize the content. Make sure it has to be 60-40 content has to be there. For that, you have to do more practice. This is it for your rapid revision. Hope the purpose got fulfilled. And I'm expecting that whatever the concepts that are needed for you to be revised, it has been happened. And I appreciate all your efforts also for 8 hours being active, because your response will motivate me to give my best. If let's say if you are feeling sleepy, you are taking naps, if your body language indicates, sir, we are tired and exhausted, we are done. But you are not like that. Most of you have maintained the same level of interest from morning to now. That is appreciable. So hope you will maintain the same interest and you will until you hit your exams and get the good results. So don't waste your time. Use it productively. No distractions. Only your efforts will give you the good results. That's it. I wish you all luck for all your future endeavors. I wish you all the best for all your examinations. Do take care of yourself. Thank you.